Hello, Namer. Thank you for joining me tonight for Stampin' Sunday. I hope that you can hear me.
Hello, Namer. Thank you for joining me tonight.
I always forget to turn my sound off. I'm glad that you could join me tonight. I'm so glad you're here. I hope that you had a wonderful day, that you've enjoyed the weather this weekend. Tonight, I'm going to be creating a card with the Ring with Nature stamp set. And I wanted to try and use a piece of paper, designer series paper, that I've cut down to 6x6. So if you don't know, a lot of our papers sometimes will come in 6x6 size instead of this big 12x12. So I wanted to take a 6x6 piece of paper and create a few cards to show you how you can make several cards out of one little piece of 6x6 paper. And so I'm going to turn the camera around and get started. And at the end tonight, I have a little bit of a commercial to share with you, because tomorrow is the end of the current special to join. So if you join Stampin' Up right now, between tonight and tomorrow, you get $155 worth of product for only $99. And what's really cool about the way they work this is you get to choose. So if you want this stamp set, you can choose it. If you want a different stamp set, you can choose that. Anything you want up to $155, and you pay $99 and you get free shipping. So I just think that's really cool. And I joined during a similar special a long time ago, and I have never regretted it. So if you are a crafty person and you love craft supplies and you love getting a discount on them, and just reach out to me and ask me about it, and I can answer any questions you might have. Now I'm going to turn the camera around and we're going to get started. So hold on just a moment. And I think that this week I've actually figured out the right way to do this. So hold on 1 second. Okay, I think I have everything turned around and in the right spot. So hopefully you can see what's going on. And if you have any questions, you can post them on Facebook and I will do my best to answer them as we go. So like I said, tonight we are going to work with the Ring with Nature stamp set. Let's see, I'm going to try to open up my Facebook just to make sure that if you have any questions, I can answer them. Okay, and I don't see any comments yet or any questions. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to go ahead. We're pushing on. All right, so here is a piece of paper that I have cut down to 6x6 so that we can use it tonight to make some cards. And I think what we're going to do is cut our paper first, and then we'll make some measurements and we'll figure out what we're going to do. So this paper is actually from a 12x12 piece of paper from the Happy Forest Friends papers. And I love this pack of paper. So this is one side, this is the other. And I'll show you the other pieces at the end before we go. So if you were to choose the starter kit, this is something that you could choose. It's a current, you can choose any current products. Okay, and I want my card base to be Sahara Sand. So I'm just gonna get one of those out and have it ready over here on the side. And I think I'll also use some sweet sorbet, but as we go, we'll figure that out. So tonight we are again designing as we go. And I'm going to take my piece of paper, and this is a 6x6 piece of paper. I want to cut it at, let's see, I'm going to cut it at 3 inches. And guys, I'm kind of making this up. I don't have a little sketch or a plan. I looked at a whole bunch of them, but I couldn't figure out what I really wanted. So here I am. Okay, and so I cut that at 3, and then I'm going to cut it at 4. So we have a piece that's 3 by 4 and a piece that is 2 by 3. And this is our other, let's see, this is our other side. Let's see. Because I didn't plan this out ahead of time, I'm just trying to figure it out. So we have a piece that's 3 by 4. Let's do, okay, we'll cut this one at 2 1/4. So that gives us a piece that's 2 1/4 by 6 and 3/4 by 6. So let's cut this one. Let's see, 3/4 by, this one is 3/4 by 6. Let's cut it at 4. Okay, so now we have 2 little pieces. And let's cut this one. Say there's 4 and 2. So let's go with 1, 2, and we'll cut this one at, let's cut it at 2. No, let's do 2 1/4, just because. Okay, so we've got 2 by 3/4, 4 by 3/4, 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. And I'll put all these in the email this week. But let's use these pieces and try to make about 3 cards. So next I'm going to take my piece of Sahara Sand, and I'm going to cut that at 5 1/2. And I'm going to score both of those pieces at 4 1/4. So that'll give me 2 card bases. There's one. And here's the second one. And we are designing as we go. So if you have any questions as we go along, feel free to ask them. I don't know if I'll see them in the comments or not, but I will definitely answer them later. Okay, so there we have 2 card bases. And let's make our other card base sweet sorbet. I need to measure this one because it's a scrap I pulled out. Let's see. And we'll make that the same size. We'll make it 5.5. Let's see, let's make sure. By 8.5. And we're going to score that one again at 4.25. So that gives us 3 card bases. All right, let's fold those up first. And here are our pieces. I'm going to move this cutter to the side a little bit so that we're kind of centered on what we're focusing on here. So I'm going to fold my card bases. And when you score, there's always one side that's raised up and one side that's lowered down. So I call this side the valley and this side the mountain. And I always fold my cards toward the mountain. Then I'll just take my bone folder and I'll give that a press. You can tell my bone folder has seen better days, but it still works really well. I use it to smear ink around and all kinds of stuff. Okay, let's score our other one. I mean, fold it. We already scored it. We're just folding. All right, so now we've got 3 card bases. We've got 2 that are Sahara Sand, and we've got 1 that is Sweet Sorbet. So let's see here. Let's do this. And I think we'll do that. So what I'm going to do is grab another piece of Sweet Sorbet, and I just happen to have one over here. And I'm going to cut it just 1/8 of an inch larger than my first piece here. And this piece, I think if I remember right, was 3 by 4. So we're going to cut this piece 3 1/8. Oh, hopefully I did that right. Nope, I cut it too short, but we're going to need it for something else later. Let me grab another one of those. And we will keep right on moving. It's not the first time I've cut a piece too short, and I'm sure it won't be the last time. All right, so we're going to cut our piece. And I'm going to cut the short side first because I'm going to try and save my paper. 3 1/8. It doesn't really matter because I have a whole piece here, but I'm going to try by 4 1/8. Okay, and we're going to put this underneath here. And then we are going to add it. Yeah, I like it best this way. We're going to add it to our card. Let's see, which way do we want our card to go? I'm thinking maybe this way. All right. And so yeah, all right. So I am going to have it go this way, and then we need our next piece. So let's stamp something to put on this card. All right, you can see that I'm trying to figure out my but I'm not ready yet. Okay. So this one, I think we're going to put like this. And we need to stamp something from our Ringed with Nature stamp set. Let's pull out. Here is my stamping mat. And let's see what we've got here. I think I am going to want to stamp the little house. So let's do that first. I hope you can hear me tonight. I don't see any comments, but I don't think you'd be sticking around if you couldn't. I could be wrong. You might just be watching me, but I don't think so. Okay, we're gonna put our house's roof on this block here. This is block B. And then our little house, we're gonna put on block, let's see, this is block C. All right, so now we've got a little house and a little roof, and we need some white to stamp on. I'm just gonna grab a piece like this. And let's see. I'm trying to use up my scraps today, can you tell? And a little piece like that. That should be perfect. Oh, you can hear me. Jillian, I'm so glad that you're here. Happy birthday to you, my friend. And I'm glad you can hear me. All right, so what I am going to do is stamp my little house. And I am going to stamp it in Sahara sand. Okay, so I'm kind of cluttering up my workspace here. Hopefully that doesn't work against me. So I'm going to stamp my house in Sahara sand. And I'm going to practice stamp because I found that many times I need to. I hope there's not a big bad wolf in the little house. I would rather he not be in there. It's definitely possible. All right, so we're going to put our house right here. And it's fairly cute, that little house. And then I am going to make the roof be sweet sorbet. Sweet sorbet is one of our in colors currently, and it's kind of a, I feel like it's a pinkish red instead of just a red. It's not a real red, and it's not as dark as cherry cobbler. It's sort of a pink red. All right. So I'm going to stamp that over here on my scrap. Okay, and now I have a little house and a little roof. And I am gonna craft. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. It's never good when your crafty mojo is gone. It's never good. All right, I'm gonna cut out this little roof. I wish I could send you some, but I'm not sure how that would work. All right. Oh, I didn't turn the corner very well there. Hold on. Some of that's in my way. All right. So I'm just trimming around our little roof. And I'm trying to make sure that I keep my scissors straight up because that's what I found works the best. I can tell you that I did get a little crafty boost when I went on Saturday to a one-day retreat. So it was a one-day stamping retreat. It was downtown, not very far from me, but it was really amazing. So if there's anything going on by you where you can join in to a live crafting, it really does make a difference. It's you get a lot of inspiration when you're working with other people, and that's one of the things I've really been missing lately. I have one in-person class a month, but it's not like it used to be, I guess I could say. So, and when I say that, I don't mean that my classes aren't like they used to be. I mean, there's not as many opportunities to get together and craft. So I used to go on alternating Friday nights. Sometimes I would go to a local bead store and I would bead together with my wonderful friends. And I also would go on the opposite Friday nights to a craft scrapbooking store. And we would scrapbook together, or I did not do a lot of scrapbooking. I did start some scrapbooks, but I didn't finish them. But I really loved getting together with other people who are creating things and seeing what they're doing. It's so much fun to see what other people are doing, and you get ideas. I miss our weekends too. They really are. It's really wonderful to be together with other people, making progress on your projects. And sometimes it's just a little bit of progress because you're so busy socializing, but that's one of my favorite parts. I gotta be honest. Okay, so now we have our little house, and I've got and we were doing Zooms for a while on the weekend. At least that's something too. I'll set up another one of those crafty Zoom weekends. Okay, so now we've got our little house. We've got our kind of our base layers, a little house, and we need a sentiment, right? So let me grab another piece of white. Sometimes when I'm designing, I feel like I'm a little bit all over the place, but I hope that you're able to follow along a little bit and craft with me if that's what you want to do. Okay, so let's get a little sentiment here. And what do we want to say? Let's say just for you. That's one of my favorite sentiments. I buy almost every stamp set that I can that has a just for you, a for you, or a thinking of you. I really like how I want people to know I'm thinking about them. But it's not necessarily happy birthday or sympathy or anything like that. It's just a just for you. Just because I'm thinking about you.
All right, let's see. And I'm going to stamp it over here. So let's stamp that in Sweet Sorbet too. I know my videos lately have been a little bit short. This one might be a tiny bit longer just because I'm trying to show you a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this just for you. And I need to take a little break and clean off my stamps because I'm afraid I'm going to get ink everywhere. So let me just wipe them off real quick on my chamois. I'm going to leave them on the blocks though, because we may need them again. Okay, and I'm not going to put my chamois away. I'm probably going to need that again as well. So I'm setting it close by and hopefully I remember where I put it. All right, so here is our little just for you, and I'm going to cut this out too. So I'm just going to take my snips and I'm not going to go too close. But I'm just going to kind of go around my words. And this is a good way if you don't have you don't have just the right punch or just the right shape in your dies, you can fussy cut anything. All right, so there is that. And then I have a little sponge right here. And I'm just, if you don't have a sponge, you can use a sponge dauber or a baby wipe, whatever you have. And I'm going to tap it in my ink a little bit, and I'm just going to smudge around the edges here. Okay, so there is that. And I am going to grab my beautiful shapes dies. And let's see if we have one that'll fit our little house. I think we might. Okay, so here's our house. And look at that. I think we've got just the right one. And I think actually, yeah. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to cut this little house in a hexagon. And we're going to make a little hexagon to go behind it. So I'm going to go over to my big shot, which is just behind me here. And I should not have put that roof on already. But I'm going to try and run it through and see how it goes. So I might be quiet for just a moment while I'm here. All right, and even though I put the roof on too early, it's still cut out. So here is my little house. Isn't that cute? And then I can cut out a little sweet sorbet to go behind it. So I'm going to cut that out of the hexagon that's just a tiny bit larger than the first. All right, here we go. Now I think we can put our first card together. Let me put these shapes back. And the other day I almost lost one. And I don't want to do that. Okay, let's set those to the side and put our first card together, and then we will get started on the next one. Okay, I'm gonna glue my little house to my hexagon. And I like to use the liquid glue. That is my favorite kind of glue. But when you're using it, you just need to remember that a little bit goes a long way. So you don't want any lumps or bumps. You want it to be just a fine line of glue. And I usually go around the edge and then a squiggle in the middle. And that is more than enough. So we're going to line that up, kind of smush it a little bit to the center, which you can do because the liquid glue takes just a couple seconds to dry. As long as you only put a little bit on. If you put a lot of glue on, it's going to be a mess. Okay, so here's our little house. Here's our just for you. And we're going to take our piece of designer series paper. Now remember, this one was 3 by 4. And this one is 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. If you're signed up for my email, I will send you all the measurements for how we cut our paper tonight too. And I do usually send those out by Wednesday. Sometimes my week gets a little hectic. And my kids are home from school this week, so that it could happen. But I will do my best to get the email out by Wednesday. Oh, the electric Big Shot. It's a game changer, isn't it? It's so nice. I don't have one of those, but I have had a chance to use them and they're amazing. Okay, so we're lining our designer series paper up right in the center, and we're just going to press that down so that glue will dry nice and flat. And sometimes I'll turn it over and just press it like this. My whole table is shaking. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but I just have one of those folding tables from, it's probably from Menards or Home Depot or somewhere. Okay, and so there is our next piece. Now, what I am going to do is glue this piece kind of up here in the corner. And I'm going to use the liquid glue again for that. I know I never did get a cuddle bug, but I have the Big Shot, the same one that I've had for I don't know how long, and it still works. It's big and it's fairly heavy, but so far I haven't had any trouble with it. And I love that I can switch out the plates and do different, I can do embossing, I can do die cutting. I really still like it. It's probably not as heavy as the electric one though. I would imagine that might be a little bit heavier, but I know it folds up. So, all right, and we'll put our house right down here, I think. And I'm going to put that on with some Stampin' Dimensionals. And if you have Stampin' Dimensionals and you get down to the end like this, you can always trim them. Okay, so trim those edges and make the most of your Stampin' Dimensionals. Don't get this far and throw them away because they're still useful. Oh yeah, I figured it might be kind of heavy. But because even the Big Shot is heavy. Now I did get the new little die cutting machine, and that one's not heavy and it folds up. It's a mini Stampin' Cut emboss machine. So if I'm going someplace, if I'm going to crafting or wherever, which is not very often, but still I can take it with me, which is so nice. All right, and then I'm gonna put my Just For You. Where am I gonna put it? I think right down here. I think that's the best spot. So I'm just gonna put one more Stampin' Dimensional on there. And then I'll put it right here. 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 I think there's a good spot. Because I did give it a little bit of a shadow. Now, when you're at this point, our card's pretty much finished, but we can add some little gems on there. We can add a bow, whatever we need to make it a little bit sparkly and finish it up. On to the next one, because tonight we're going to try and make 3 cards. We probably could make 4, but we're going to let our goal be 3 out of one piece of 6x6 paper and some cardstock. So there is our first card. I'm just going to set this one up here. I know that you guys probably can't see it once I set it up there, but I'll show them off again all at the end. Okay, so the next one I want to do this piece here and this one are close to the same size, but not quite. And what I'm thinking is I'd like this piece to be on the inside. It's kind of like a little surprise decoration. Okay, so this one is going to go on the front. Let's see, what else have we got here? We've got this. We've got this. We could do, let's see. No, I really like this side with the little trunks. I do like this other side with the little pluses, X's. I don't know if they're X's or pluses. Okay, Jillian, I miss you too. I'm so glad you could stop by, at least for a little bit. Okay, so these are the 2 we're going to use on this card. And this time, what I'm going to do is make mine a 1/4 inch bigger than this. So we need a piece of sweet sorbet, and let's measure this one again. This is 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. So we need this one to be 4 by 2 1/2. All right, and this is going to go underneath this one. And I'm going to put it over on this side. And then maybe this one would be, no, I really am partial to this piece here. Okay, so let's do, we can put it up like this. Okay, and this square is 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. So we're going to make a square that goes behind that. That is 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. I hope I'm not shaking the table too much, guys. I'm trying to be really careful this time. about the camera so I'm not making anyone seasick. All right, so there's our 2.5 by 2.5. All right, and here's this one. And let's take, all right, I just had an idea. I think I'd like to, let's see. I'm sorry you guys can't hear me thinking, but it probably would be too much. I'm trying to tell you what my plans are. And then I think I'm gonna take and open this up. Nope, I'm not yet. Nope. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I need a piece of white. Oh, thank you, Mary. I really like the sweet sorbet with the Sahara sand. And that's kind of a recent discovery. Just since I got that Happy Forest Friends paper. Okay, so I'm gonna make a piece of card that is, I'm gonna cut my white 5 7/8. By 4 1/8. Okay. Let's see how that looks. All right, so we're going to check our layers again before we continue on. This is just a skinny layer that'll go on the top. And then this one will go here. This one will go here. And I think I'd like to stamp some little hearts in sweet sorbet right over on this side of my white piece of paper. So here is a tiny block. This is block A. And in our Ring with Nature stamp set is this perfect little heart. So we're going to take that and put it on this block. I'm going to grab that sweet sorbet ink again. Let's scoot this over to the side. And remember, when you're stamping, this is just a little tip. You want to tap, tap, tap. You don't want to push your stamp down into the ink, because if you do that, the ink will ooze up over the edges of your stamp and it won't be a nice clean stamp. And that's what you want. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to stamp once and then twice. And then we're going to huff on it and stamp a third time. And this way we get 3 different colors from the same ink, if you can see that. Okay, and then I'm going to clean my stamp off. I thought I was going to keep my chamois closed, and I did, but I forgot exactly where I put it. Okay, so that one's cleaned off. And then let's see where we're at. So this time, let's do a thinking of you stamp. And so I'm going to take this just for you off, and I'm going to put that back. Oh, and I lost it. Where'd it go? Oh, it's right here. Thinking of you. We're going to add that on our block. And here's another little tip for when you're stamping. This one is not too bad. But when you're putting an image on a stamp block, I like to keep it around the same size as the stamp. So for a tiny stamp like this, you wouldn't want to use a great big block because there's more chance that you're going to rock that and not hold it nice and level. And so that's not going to give you the nicest image. You want to give yourself the most advantages you possibly can when you're stamping. Okay, so there's our thinking of you stamp. And I'm going to go ahead and glue these together. So we've got this one here and this one here. And when I add my glue, I'm going to add glue to this one first and then this one. Because I'm right-handed and I'm less likely to get my hands back in the glue and end up all sticky if I do it that way. Plus, I can get the glue on 2 of them without putting the lid back on. Oh, I got a little too big a smudge right there. And then a little squiggle in the middle. I try to go a little skinny line around the edge. Just like that. And then a squiggle down the middle. And if there's any big globs, I always use the tip of my glue to kind of smooth them out a little bit. Because I do not want that glue oozing out. All right, so we're going to take and we're going to put this one together first. And just set it in the middle. And we can scoot it so that it's in just the right spot and then press it down. I just noticed that tiny snail in the middle of this paper. He's so cute. Can you guys see that tiny snail? He's so cute. Okay, and then we're going to put this one together. All right. So we have those. And I need another piece of white to put on the inside. And this one I'm going to cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And this is just a piece of basic white. Okay. And you know what? Before I put this one down, I'm actually going to stamp some of those little hearts again, and I'm going to put them on this side. This time, let's see, where's my sweet sorbet? And so we're going to tap, tap, tap. And I always like to practice stamp first. Sometimes I forget, but I think it's really important. Okay, and then we're going to put our little hearts over here. So I'm going to do one this way, one this way, and then I'm going to huff, and I'm going to put one over here. So this time they're kind of gathered up in the corner. Okay, let's clean off our stamp, our little heart. And I'm going to set it to the side because I might need it again. I don't know yet. All right, and this is our piece for the inside. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue that down because I know that that one is not going to change. All right, so we're going to put our liquid glue on again, a thin line around the edge. I'm going to have to get a new one soon. I'm trying to squeeze it out and that squiggle in the middle. And then you can turn, I always try to leave myself one corner where there's a little more space than the others to hang on to. All right, and then we're just going to put that in the middle. And we can scoot it around so that it lines up kind of close to the edge there. And now we have our little piece right here that's 3/4 by 4 from our DSP. And we're going to put that along the right edge. That's another little inside surprise. So we have 2 little surprises inside this card. Now you can add anything to any card to make it have a little surprise. Okay. Now we're just going to add this on the right hand side. I'm not putting it right on the edge, but I'm putting it kind of close. I do prefer glue. I have a lot of trouble with the tape runner, and I don't know if it's just me. I'm working on learning how to use it because it's really helpful for certain projects, but I prefer glue. I use the liquid glue probably 90% of the time. Besides, was I going to say, besides mini glue dots. I love mini glue dots too. Okay. It is a great use for scraps, and who doesn't like a fun little surprise inside their card too? Okay. Now I'm going to glue that white piece onto the front. So again, I'm doing a thin line around the edge and then that squiggle in the middle. Okay, we're going to put this one right on I'm turning everything crooked. So if you struggle with that, I apologize, but sometimes I have to turn things crooked to feel like everything is going on straight. I don't know why. I do think it bonds really good. It's very sticky. I think it's great for I like it for boxes and that kind of stuff, but you do have to wait a little bit longer for it to dry. Okay, so here is the front of our card. I'm going to put this one down flat. So here I go again with the liquid glue, just a little around the edge and that squiggle in the middle. I'm almost out of this one. Plus, I think the liquid glue lasts a long time. I can't be sure, but I feel like when I use the tape runner glue, I go through a little bit quicker. Okay, there's that. And we're going to put that over here on this side. And it just lines up like this along the edge. All right, and this next one, I'm going to put up on some Stampin' Dimensionals. If you can't already tell, I do love to use Stampin' Dimensionals. Oh, I should use up these ones over here that I trimmed. I just think they add something really special to a card when there's a little extra layer. I feel like I say that about a lot of things that add something special, but there are little bits that add something special. Okay. So I'm actually going to turn this one sideways because I love that little snail and I want him to be facing up. And I'm trying not to cover up the other one. So let's put that right here in the center. And then we're going to add our thinking of you. So we need a little piece of white. Okay, and I think this one will do. That's, let's see. about 1" by 2 3/4. So let's see if that'll fit our thinking of you. And I think it will. And this time, let's stamp in Sahara Sand. So again, we're going to tap, tap, tap. And practice stamp. And tap, tap, tap again. And then I'm going to stamp over here on the left. No, I'm not. I'm going to stamp right in the middle. I lied. I was wrong. I changed my mind. We're all entitled to do that, right? Change our minds. In fact, we should sometimes. All right. And we're going to clean that off. Sahara Sand doesn't make as big a mess as the sweet sorbet would, but we're cleaning it off anyway. All right. So now here is our thinking of you. Let's see. And so we just have to decide where this is going to go. Where is it going to go? I think it's going to go like this. And so what we'll do is take our scissors, and I am going to do my best to cut a little tiny triangle out. Now, if you have the banner punch, you can use that instead. But I don't have that yet, and so I usually have to cut my shapes out on my own. All right, and that's not too bad. It's probably a little bit crooked, but we're gonna go with it anyways. And I'm just gonna put it right up here. Am I gonna put it? No, I'm gonna put it right here. This is the perfect spot right here. Okay, and then I need 2 more little dimensionals. And I'm gonna put that right here. Okay, perfect. So there is our second card. That looks just like that. So we've got 2 so far. Oh, I don't have the banner punch. Maybe it is on my list, my wish list. But I have to tell you, my list is really long. So I'm not sure how soon I'll be able to get to that. But if I ever do a demonstration on with the banner punch, I will let you know. Oh, thank you. Okay, now this one is just plain, but we could add something to the inside later. All right, and we've got 1 more card here, and we've got 2 more little pieces. So I think, let's see. I think we could, I'm trying to figure out how should they go. I think they could go this way. And these are, let's see. I think they're the same width. These are 2 inches wide. Yep, they're both the same. So our piece of sweet sorbet will make 2 1/4. Two and a quarter. And remember, we're just making this up as we go. So sometimes it turns out and sometimes it doesn't. All right, and let's put them kind of at the top and at the bottom. So let's make this, so it should be 5.5. Let's make it 5 inches. So it's 2 1/4 by 5, the sweet sorbet. And we're going to attach one here at the bottom and one at the top. And I'm just putting that liquid glue on there. And I'm going to put this one up here at the top. There we go. And I'm going to line this one up on the bottom. Going to turn it around so that little stump faces the same way as the one above. Okay, and then see, we have this little space in the middle. And I think what we're going to do is tie some ribbon on there, because why wouldn't we, right? And when I tie on ribbon, I don't know if anyone else does this, but I have to turn my project upside down. So I'm going to turn this upside down and cross my ribbon over. And I always put the short end on the top. I don't know if that makes a difference or not for anyone else, but it does for me. All right, so then I'm going to pull up a loop on the left. If I can get it up there. And then I'll go around the front side with the short piece and tuck it under. Now, before I pull it tight, I always try to turn it back up so it's right side up and adjust my ribbon. So I pull it back, definitely shorter than I want it to be. And then I kind of try to hold it in place. While I force those loops to go the right way. I don't know if anyone else does, but I always struggle with bows. I am not a good bow maker. And a lot of the time I'll make a knot, just a fake knot and a fake bow. Or just tie a knot on the top and leave it at that. But tonight we're trying a bow. Okay. And I think it's okay. It's not the most perfect bow that I have ever seen, but I think it's going to do. All right. So now I'll cut this other end to kind of match. And here we have our little piece that's going to go on the front. And so now we need a little sentiment to stamp. And this time, let's do love and warmth. Okay, so we'll put our thinking of you away. And we're going to get out love and warmth. Let's see. And that one will still fit on our block. And we need a little piece of white scrap again. Luckily, I have a whole bunch of scrap. Bows are so hard. I feel like that's a thing I have struggled with for always. So sometimes they turn out and sometimes this one's a little bit crooked, but here's the thing. It's handmade, right? And whoever gets it is going to know that I made it. There is no doubt, because if I bought a bow like that, it would be perfect, right? Would be perfectly made by some kind of bow machine. Okay, so here is our love and warmth. And this time, from our beautiful shapes again, I really like these beautiful shapes. This time we are going to use a circle. Let's see. I think this circle will be perfect. And then we will put a bigger circle around it. Okay, so let's cut out our circle and I'll cut out the bigger circle. Okay, and I'll be right back. Okay, here's the first one. And here's the second. And I wanted to show you this second one. This is part of the beautiful shapes, guys. And inside the circle is like this squiggly line. So when you cut it out, it actually has a squiggly line around there. So what we're going to do is layer these two together. And we're just going to, I forgot to close up my Sweet Sorbet ink. It's right there, trying to trick me into dipping my hand in it. So I'm just going to close it up right quick. I really like that. The whole set has, okay, so there's the circle one. And then there's two other shapes that have that same swirly, those swirly little details in there. I really, really like those. Okay, and we're gonna put our love and warmth right in the middle here. You guys, these are turning out really cute. I wasn't sure when I started how this was gonna be, but I really like it. Okay, so this, we are gonna put some Stampin' Dimensionals on. You guys are probably tired of hearing me say that, but I like Stampin' Dimensionals. And it's a really easy way to add some depth to your cards, Stampin' Dimensionals. Okay, so let's peel the backs off those. Okay, and we're gonna put this right on the front here. Now, the Stampin' Dimensionals are not as forgiving as the liquid glue. So we have to try and get them in the right spot the first time. We can't put it down and then scoot it. Okay, see, I got a little bit crooked here. And when you peel them up, you have to peel very carefully. Okay, I didn't stick them down tight, so it's going to scoot just a little bit. Now, if I line this back up along the edge, there. Okay, anytime you've already stuck something down and you have to pick it back up, first of all, don't stick it down tight until you're sure it's in the right spot. But then if you pull it up, just peel it really slow and try to keep your paper flat while you peel. Because that way, if it bends up, it never goes back the same way. I'd like to tell you that it does, that there's a way to fix it, but I have not figured it out yet. Okay, so this one, we're gonna need some Stampin' Dimensionals, but we need them to be slightly off to the right. So we'll put one here and here. Then we can peel the back off. And let's see. Let's put it right there. Okay, you guys, these are really cute and they just need, what do they need? They need some little sparkly bits, right? Let's see. These are adhesive back seasonal sequins. So let's put some of these on. These, let's see. I think these gold ones will be super pretty. Okay. So I'm gonna get my take your pick tool. And I'm gonna use the little spatula end to kind of, I like to scoop my little sequins around a little bit. Sometimes they'll pick up, which is okay, because I want to pick them up anyways. But I find if you scoot them around a little bit, they're easier to get off of there. Okay. So there's 3 of those. And then let's put some on here. Let's put them this way. We'll do 1. 2. 3. And yes, I would be counting. I would be counting to myself even if you guys weren't here. So I talk to myself a lot when I'm crafting and I count. Oh, to open stamp pads. I never thought of that. Never. Okay. And this one, let's put them right here. Let's put one here. And maybe a couple down here. Okay, so here are our 3 cards. So tonight we made 3 cards using 1 6x6 piece of DSP. So some of my favorite DSP is 6x6. I really love, let's see, this Christmas set that's Lights Aglow. So you could take these same patterns and turn them into 3 different cards. You could do Christmas cards. You can do thinking of you, just for you. They could be birthday cards. You can do anything. So here are our 3 cards. So we've got Love and Warmth. We've got Just for You. And these 2 don't have anything inside yet, but you could definitely add something. And then here's our last Thinking of You card with those special surprises inside. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I will be sending out an email by Wednesday, hopefully by Wednesday, but definitely this week, with the measurements for cutting that DSP for each of these cards. So if you haven't yet signed up for my email, you can do that right from my Facebook page. There's a little link up by the top in blue that says, I think it says sign up. So all you have to do is click that and put in your email. Thank you, Mary. And if you are not if you're not a part of Stampin' Up and you would like to join, if you want to get the discount, if you want the extra benefits of stamping with a team, then let me know and I can help you sign up for that. So, but remember that you can sign up for that anytime. There's always a deal. It's usually $125 worth of products for $99 plus your tax, but they cover the shipping. So, and then you get a 20% discount on everything that you buy after that. Let me know if you are interested in that. And remember that coming up in the future for Stampin' Sunday, we will be having some free with a purchase classes. Now, the way that'll work is the videos are free. They'll be on Facebook. But if you want to get the kit to make the cards that I make that Sunday, all you have to do is place an order, a $35 order, and use a host code. So I'll post a host code. This is my current host code if you wanted to order now. But I don't have any class kits ready to give you. But I could make up one of these if you would like. So if you place an order and you use this host code and your order is $35 or more, I will send you, I'll send you all the pieces to make these cards. So you'll get the cardstock, the DSP, it'll be cut in a 6x6 piece. So all you have to do is cut it. The sweet sorbet, the Sahara sand, some of these adhesive back gems, and some glittered sparkly ribbon. So that's kind of something new that I'm trying out. And then starting next week, I'll have a different class to send you and a different host code. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. Happy stamping, friends. I will see you next Sunday.